Hello friends, welcome to a new lecture today. In this is a picture which is showing the parenchymal tissue infection. This is a vessel. You can see the vessel here, and here in this you can see there is acute inflammation, and here you can see the thrombosis which is present in the um, lumen of the vessel of the artery, and this because of this thrombosis you can see the whole artery, this all has undergone necrosis. Okay, because of this necrosis you can see the irregular intimal outline which you see. Along with that, there is also chronic inflammatory cells are completely present in the media, and you will also see the hemorrhage, inflammatory cells, and edema is seen in the artery. So this is a sick looking artery which is a picture of infectious arteritis. It is a picture showing infectious arteritis. Then this is a picture, and in this picture here you can see the ethyroma here. Here you are seeing the ethyroma. Okay, and here also you will see the thrombus. Okay, this is actually a picture of invasive aspergillosis. This aspergillus is a fungi which has more uh, propensity to form the thrombus formation. This is the specimen of lung which is showing the many alveoli here, but here in this vessel, because of this aspergillosis fungus, there is formation of thrombi and emboli are seen. Right, next, this is the picture where you can see the hand, and here you can see this is the Reynolds phenomenon. Here you can see white changes at the distally, and in the middle we can see blue changes, and here you can see a little red changes. Okay, so this red, blue and white changes is seen in Reynolds phenomenon. This Reynolds phenomenon is mainly a primary exaggerated vasomotor activity with due to underlying disease. It occurs mainly in younger persons. In older people it can be due to autoimmune diseases or hyperviscosity, or it can occur due to scleroderma, or sometimes it can occur due to the vessel occlusion and ischemia. This is the picture showing many dilated veins are seen. Superficial dilated veins are seen. So this is the picture of varicose veins showing many prominent superficial veins. This is the picture which is showing the dermatitis. This is rough and thickened appearance of the skin with brownish discoloration. So this is stasis dermatitis. If this is not treated, it can result in ulceration, and this occurs due to the poor circulation and vascular stasis, which leads to chronic edema and venous pooling of blood. This presents with pruritus and edema. This is the microscopic appearance of stasis dermatitis. So in this stasis dermatitis, this is the hyperkeratotic area, and beneath the hyperkeratotic area, here you can see brownish color deposits uh, in the dermis, right? So these are actually hemosiderin granules which you can see in the dermis. Okay, this is because of the stasis of blood cells which undergo degeneration, and the iron gets deposited there, resulting in hemosiderin granules are seen in the stasis dermatitis. Now first, this is the picture showing, this is the picture of vein. Okay, and here you can see these dark blue color regions. These dark blue color regions are the thrombosis. Okay, these are the thrombosis. If this thrombosis is seen in the vein, then we have a name for it which is called as phlebothrombosis. If the thrombosis is present in the vein, then we call it as phlebothrombosis. So we will see the microscopic structure of this phlebothrombosis. So if you see, this is the microscopic structure which is showing the phlebothrombosis. Okay, so this is the cross sectional area of a vein. So this is the vein and this is the muscular wall of the vein, and here you can see the thrombus which is displayed in the wall of the vein. So this is the thrombus which is seen, and in the thrombus if you see, you will see some lines here which are light lines. See, all these red color is RBC deposition, fine, but in between it there are light colored lines which you can see here. What are these light lines? These light lines are lines of Zahn. This presence of lines of Zahn will tell us that it is an antemortem thrombi which is formed. If you see here, this is a X-ray or radiograph, and in this radiograph here you can see this structure. See, this is the inferior vena cava filter which is put. It's difficult to see it definitely, but here if you see, this is the inferior vena cava filter which is put mainly for the um, for preventing the lower limb thrombi to enter the systemic circulation. Then this is also an X-ray picture, X-ray of the pelvis, where you can see bright density here, and this bright density is the calcified veins, calcification present in the veins, and these are called as phleboliths. These phleboliths are seen in older individuals. These phleboliths have no significance, but the main important thing is sometimes these are confused with urinary tract caliculi. So you should keep this in mind. This is a chest X-ray picture, and in this chest X-ray picture you can see here there is some pipe here with some expanded thing. This is actually a central venous line placed in the right subclavian vein. This is present outside, but through the right subclavian vein, okay, this catheter is put and it passes through the right subclavian vein and then to the superior vena cava, and then it reaches the right atrium. See, you can even trace this catheter like this. Okay, so this catheter is passing from the left, not left, right subclavian vein, and from there to superior vena cava, and from there to right artery. So this is actually the central venous catheter which is given for monitoring the fluid status of the patient. This is a gross picture of the liver which is showing a circumscribed lesion in the capsule of the liver. This is actually a hemangioma which is seen in the liver. This is hemangioma of the liver. This is the CT scan of the abdomen, but in the liver if you see, there is small hypodense lesion is seen here. Okay, so this is seen in the left lobe of the liver, rounded margins, and there is decreased central attenuation when compared to the surrounding hepatic parenchyma. This is also the picture of hemangioma. This is a hemangioma picture of on CT scan. Now, if you see, this is a picture of a specimen which is the baby's thigh with reddish mass seen in the pelvic region. This is the reddish mass which you can see. Actually, this is the congenital hemangioma which is seen. This is the congenital hemangioma which is seen here. The microscopic structure of hemangioma looks like this. So this is the skin. Underneath the skin you can see many vascular or venous filled channels are seen. So these are many vascular channels which are filled with blood, and these are many dilated vascular spaces filled with blood that extend to the underlying adipose tissue. So this is called as hemangioma. These vascular channels are lined by flat endothelial cells, and on physical examination these lesions change over the time, and in some, especially in infancy, these lesions will grow rapidly before they regress back to normal. This is the picture of the baby, that is 18 weeks fetus. This is the picture of 18 weeks fetus which is involving a mass here in the left arm and the left side of the chest. This is the mass which is again showing the hemangioma. Even this is a congenital neoplasm with irregular vascular channels resembling the lymphatics. So it is not actually a hemangioma, but because it is resembling the lymphatics microscopically, this is actually a lymphangioma. If you see the same above picture, take the microscopic section, it looks something like this. Here you will see large, these are the lymphatic spaces. These are the many white colored things. These are the many lymphatic spaces which are lined by thin endothelium. The main important thing is there is no RBC or red blood cells seen in these vascular channels. That is the reason why these are lymphatic channels which are dilated, which is called as lymphangioma. And what are these? These are actually the lymph nodes. These are the lymph nodes which are seen. So this is the picture showing the lymphangioma. This is the picture of the fetus, and here you can see something here. What is this? This is the picture of cystic hygroma, which is most commonly seen in Turner syndrome, monosomy X fetus. Here this is the picture of cystic hygroma. Okay, which is also a dilate. What is cystic hygroma? Cystic hygroma is microscopically dilated lymphatic space which is seen in soft tissues on the posterior side of the neck. So this is about cystic hygroma. This is the picture showing Kaposi sarcoma, which is most commonly seen in AIDS patients. Here in this picture you can see the many nodular lesions which are larger, and numerous nodular lesions are seen. These are reddish to reddish purple plaques or patches are seen in many areas of the skin. Okay, so this is Kaposi sarcoma. This is the microscopic picture of Kaposi sarcoma, where you can see presence of atypical cells are seen. Atypical endothelial cells are seen here. These are atypical endothelial cells which are seen, and this brown color is hemosiderin granules which are seen. So these are hemosiderin granules which are seen, and if you see, what are these? These are pink hyaline globules. All these are pink hyaline globules. Even here you can see pink hyaline globules are seen. This is the microscopic picture of Kaposi sarcoma. This is the picture of a hand which is showing very small, lesions. These small lesions which you can see, these are pinpoint hemorrhages. These pinpoint hemorrhages are called as petechiae, and if you see, these are mottled skin areas are seen here, and this is small nodular hemorrhages are seen, and this small nodular hemorrhages which are seen here are Janeway lesions. Okay, so these are the petechiae which are seen in this picture. Now this is the picture of blotchy areas of hemorrhage in the skin, and these areas are very large in size, which are almost more than 1 centimeter, and these areas are called as purpura. So these are the purpura of skin. And in this leg, if you see here, there is a collection of blood seen just below the uh, nail, okay, toenail. So this is a small hematoma which is seen. And here the iron present, here the problem is the RBC present in the blood that has been broken down, and the iron in the hemoglobin is not lost, and as a result this has given this black coloration to this hematoma. This is the heart, and in this heart you can see this thing. What is this? This is a stunt which is seen. This is a coronary stunt which is seen in the patient, and this is made up of wire mesh. Okay, this is done, this is put in the patient by percutaneous transluminal coronary angioplasty. Now this is the pictures which are showing. See, what are these? See, here you can see these areas. What are these? These are the coronary stents. You can see here also. So this is the gross picture again, showing the coronary stents which are put after angioplasty. So this is the picture which is showing a CT scan, which is, so it is a CT scan. If you see, yeah, so these circular, here you can see two circular brightly appearing things, and these two circular brightly appearing things are femoropopliteal. What are they? See, I'll write it here. Two circular brightly appearing things are femoropopliteal polytetrafluoroethane grafts. Okay, and here you will see the thrombus formation and surrounded by fluid collection is seen. So this is the picture showing the peripheral vascular disease. Right. So this is the picture, microscopic picture of a small pulmonary arterial branch. Okay, here in pulmonary artery generally you will not see any fat globules, but here you can see these clear stains, clear spaces. These clear spaces are nothing but the fat globules in the pulmonary arterial branch. So fat globules in the pulmonary arterial branch gives us the example of fat embolism. So this is the picture showing fat embolism. Now this is the picture, microscopic picture, where here you have, what is this? This is the epithelial squamous. This looks something like epithelium, right? So this is the epithelial squamous which is seen in pulmonary artery. So this is a pulmonary artery. Okay, and this is the epithelial squamous in the pulmonary artery. This is nothing but amniotic fluid embolism. In amniotic fluid embolism, you can see it is seen in pulmonary artery, and here you can see the uh, epithelial things which are present in amniotic fluid. So this mainly contains the fetal squamous, lanugo hair, vernix, mucin. All these are seen like this microscopically. This is a CT scan of thorax, and here you can see the uh, decreased attenuation with layering effect seen here. So this layering effect is due to the presence of, see, it is something like this. This effect which you can see here is layering effect. So there is decreased attenuation here and there is layering effect. It typically occurs in the presence of air and the blood in the right atrium. When both air and blood are seen in the right atrium, then you can see somewhat picture like this. So this is the CT scan showing air embolism, right? So this is about the important pictures. Thank you for watching.